Are you a retiree or homeowner in the villages? I'm about to show you something that's happening right now in the villages that developers and real estate agents don't want you to know about. Everything you're about to hear is backed by public data from Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, and local market reports. I've linked the sources below so you can verify each number yourself. Now, let's look at what's actually happening in the villages. Home values have dropped to $409,251, down 2.8% in just 1 year. But here's where it gets really interesting. The median sale price, the actual number homes are selling for, fell 7.9% to $350,000. You might think, markets go up and down, right? But wait until you see what's happening behind the scenes. This isn't just a minor dip. This is something bigger. The Home Price Forecast score, which analysts use to predict where a market is headed, is at 28 out of 100. To put that in perspective, anything under 50 signals a declining market. A score of 28 means serious trouble, and projections show severe declines through 2025 and 2026, meaning we haven't even hit the bottom yet. Here's where it gets even crazier. Right now in the villages, there are 69 homes in foreclosure. That's 1.25% of all residential properties. These are people who bought their dream retirement home, and now they're losing it. In real estate, rising foreclosures are a major red flag, signaling serious trouble for the local economy or housing market. And it gets worse. Pay close attention to the next number. It shows the level of seller desperation, and it tells you everything about how unstable the market has become. In Sumter County, where most of the villages is located, 34.5% of home sellers have reduced their prices. Think about that for a second. More than 1 in 3 homeowners had to cut their asking price because buyers simply weren't willing to pay what they initially expected. And these aren't minor adjustments. These are meaningful price drops, where sellers believed their homes were worth a certain amount, and the market pushed back and said otherwise. And it gets even more telling. Homes in the villages are now sitting on the market for an average of 71 days. That's over 2 months. Compare that to hotter markets like Miami or Tampa, where properties can sell in as little as 2 weeks, and the difference becomes very clear. Sellers in the villages are getting nervous, really nervous. Every extra day a home sits unsold comes with real costs. Owners are still paying mortgages, HOA fees, and CDD fees. And in the villages, those expenses add up quickly. HOA fees alone can run $150 to $200 per month, while CDD-related costs can add another $150 to $180 or more. That means homeowners could be losing $300 to $400 every single month their property doesn't sell. It's no surprise price cuts are becoming more common. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The sale-to-list price ratio is 96.4%. Meaning homes are selling for about 3% to 4% below asking price on average. So even after sellers lower their prices, buyers are still negotiating them down further. That's a strong signal we're in a buyer's market. Now let's talk about inventory, because this is where things shift even more. There are currently 2,336 homes for sale in the villages. Analysts expect that number to grow another 5% to 10% in the coming months, meaning more competition for sellers and more options, and leverage for buyers. Months of supply has increased from 2.2 to 2.3. That might sound small, but in real estate, even slight increases matter. It signals that homes are taking longer to sell and inventory is steadily building, another sign that the market is cooling and pressure is mounting on sellers. When you have rising inventory, longer days on market, and falling prices all happening at the same time, that's what we call a buyer's market, and one that's quickly turning into a buyer's paradise. But here's where the story takes a really interesting turn, and this is something I've been digging into. Over the past year, 42% of people searching for homes in the villages were actually searching to move out, not move in. Think about that. Almost half of the interest isn't coming from buyers wanting to join the community, but from current or prospective residents looking for a way out. So where are they going? The top destinations include Palm Bay, Cape Coral, and Jacksonville. And when you look deeper into the reasons why, it starts to make sense. Many people bought into the villages expecting a dream retirement lifestyle, but the reality has been different. Between HOA fees, CDD fees, and strict deed restrictions, like rules on paint colors, landscaping, or even decorations, it can feel limiting over time. For some homeowners, that lifestyle becomes frustrating. One resident even described local boards as overly controlling, while Juan Porras has publicly referred to HOAs as a failed experiment. When you combine those restrictions with rising costs and now declining home values, people start reevaluating their decision. For many, it no longer feels like the investment or lifestyle they originally expected. And here's what makes the situation even more compelling. Just outside the villages, major builders like D.R. Horton and Ryan Homes are developing large 55-plus communities in nearby areas like Lady Lake and Wildwood. Here's the key difference. Many of these communities don't have the same HOA or CDD fees, and some even offer more flexible living arrangements without strict age or lifestyle rules. That creates direct competition and gives buyers alternatives that may look far more appealing. You can now buy a brand new home and still be close to everything the Villages offers, the amenities, restaurants, entertainment, and golf, without all the fees and restrictions. That's changing how buyers think. Now people are asking a simple question. Why pay $350,000 for a resale home in the Villages with $300 a month in fees when you can buy new construction nearby for similar money and lower monthly costs? That's the competition the Villages is now facing, and it's putting even more downward pressure on prices. So what does this mean for you? If you're a buyer, this may be one of the best opportunities in years. Sellers are under pressure, prices are falling, and with 34.5% of listings cutting prices, there's clear room to negotiate even further. You're in control right now. Make lower offers. Ask for closing cost assistance. Request repairs or concessions. Sellers need to move these properties, and they know it. If you've been watching the Villages and waiting for the right moment, this could be it. But don't rush in blindly. Make sure you fully understand the HOA and CDD fees, because those costs don't go away, and they often increase over time. Run the full numbers: mortgage, fees, insurance, which can be high in Florida, and property taxes. Make sure the total monthly cost fits your long-term budget, not just today's conditions. Now, if you're a seller or already own in the Villages, the situation is more challenging. The market forecast points to continued declines, inventory is rising, and you're competing with over 2,300 active listings, plus brand new construction nearby. If you need to sell, pricing aggressively from day one is critical. Overpricing in this environment can cost you valuable time, and the longer your home sits, the more likely you'll need to make deeper cuts later. This market has shifted, and both buyers and sellers need to adjust quickly to stay ahead of it. Don't make the mistake of testing the market with a high price, hoping to get lucky. That 71-day average time on market means you could be sitting there for over 2 months watching other homes sell, while yours gets ignored. Buyers today are price sensitive and have options. They're not chasing listings like they were before. Instead, focus on what's actually selling, not what's listed. Price your home below comparable sales, not above them, and be prepared to negotiate. In this market, the right pricing strategy from day one can make the difference between selling quickly and chasing the market down with repeated price cuts. If you don't need to sell right now, then you've got a bigger decision to make. Do you hold and wait for a potential recovery, or do you cut your losses now before prices possibly decline further? That 28 out of 100 market forecast score is a strong signal that more downward pressure could be ahead. You also need to be realistic about your position. Some homeowners will be fine, especially those who bought years ago at much lower prices. But if you purchased in the last 2 or 3 years near the peak, there's a real chance you're already close to being underwater or heading in that direction. Here's the bottom line. The Villages housing market is going through a significant correction. Prices are down 7.9%. Foreclosures have risen to 69 properties, and more than a third of sellers are cutting prices. The data suggests the market may get worse before it improves. This isn't about fear. It's about understanding reality. Smart buyers and investors make decisions based on data, not hype. If you're entering this market, take your time, do your research, run the numbers carefully, and don't let anyone pressure you into making a decision that doesn't make financial sense for you. The data is clear, and right now, it's signaling that the Villages market is under pressure. What you do with that information is up to you.